Jesse, how are the preparations going for the Saints and the defense trying to close out the season on the high note?
Yep, we got a short week. So obviously that's already a challenge for us that we got to make sure that we're being prepared even with the holiday being today. We still got to make sure that we're preparing and putting in the work so we can have success on Sunday. So excited for it, for sure.
Just found out Olave's out. They found a blood clot or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the other guys? I know Jawan Johnson's on the stat sheet.
Yep.
Who are some of their other weapons y'all got?
Yeah. They're down a couple of their guys. Obviously, Kamara is one of their other guys. Obviously Taysom Hill has meant a lot to that. To that organization. I don't know. I feel like they've been kind of preaching about him. Maybe this is his last game in New Orleans, and I could just see them maybe trying to feature him a little bit more. So obviously 83 is a previous receiver as well who is more than capable of going out there and catching the ball and getting yards after catch. But who's making it really go is the quarterback, and him being able to extend plays and keep his eyes down the field has really hurt defenses in the past couple of weeks.
And just was working on, boss had me working on the MVP candidates and stuff. Y'all played Allen, Stafford, and the kid Drake May. What are your recollections of those battles with those three guys?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say right now. I think you really start to figure out who the MVP is when you start talking about the playoffs and how people handle that stage. I don't know, when do people usually announce the MVP?
They got a vote by January 5th.
January 5th. Okay, before the playoffs. Okay, so I didn't know that. So, but all of them are.
Regular season.
Yeah, they're all more than deserving of it. I think last week probably hurt Stafford a little bit with us getting some picks off of them, but we're just focusing on us right now for.
Thank you.
How excited were you for your boy X after that game on Monday?
Yeah, I was very excited for him. We talked about him all last week, and what he's been able to come in here and do, and him just being able to understand, what we're doing, but also putting his own sauce into it as well. So he's gonna be a really good football player, and I'm thinking the whole world knows that now by him going out there and having that performance on that stage.
Can I ask you about something extremely random?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing a story about slide and slipper culture in the NFL.
Slide.
How y'all take care of your feet during the season?
Yeah.
Do you have anything specific that you do or anything unique?
Yeah. So I usually wear like the Nike pair of these. They're called like the React things or whatever. Yeah, I think some people come to work dressed. Some people wear shoes. I'm the type of guy I throw on a sweatsuit and I slide on some slides and call it a day. But I got like every color in the Nike React, and I just slip those on every day.
Is it for comfort or is it for
Yeah, I would say it's comfort, and it's for your feet to really be able to get out of the cleat. I feel like when your foot's in the cleat, it's always kind of like jammed up.
Yeah.
When you're wearing your slides and stuff, you get your feet to relax a little bit.
Stretched out.
Yeah, a little wider base.
Probably not what people might think, but you gotta take care of y'all.
No, that's good. No, for sure. Everything starts from the bottom up. So.
You ever wonder about this is completely random. Even further around, somebody was talking the other day about Kareem. Kareem played 20 years in the NBA, wearing Chuck Taylors.
Yep.
Just basically canvas on your feet. Do you ever wonder how those guys held up without sort of better?
Yeah. I think some of them are probably hurting right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that doesn't help, but I think as the world evolves, you always talk about improving, health and, try to take care of your body, try to avoid injuries as much as possible. But now you see more injuries with these higher technology type of shoes, So, yeah, it's an interesting, way above my pay grade and knowledge level of, of shoes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a conversation to be had for sure.
How much would it mean to end the season with a 4-game winning streak, especially after the adversity this team has faced this season?
Yeah, I think it will say a lot. You can build off of that and lead that into the off season and go away for 3 months I think it is before we report back, and you can just have that feeling going into the off season of, we were a couple of games off, and you can understand that margin of error going into next year that, maybe we should start the winning streak earlier in the season, But it is a long season, and I think people, when you start off slow, you tend to forget about the back end of the season and how you can really still finish strong. Just like the Texans, I think they were 0-4 to start the season off, and then now they're playing at the highest level in the NFL, honestly, as a defense, as a whole team. I think they're playing very well. So, yeah, it's hard. This league is hard. It's a long season, and I think if people can understand that we would be still in the fight almost, even though we had that 5-6 game skit of not winning, we put together 4 games winning, and next thing you know, you look up, you're back in the, in the race. So it's just perspective, I think, for young guys as well to see that, for, a lot of young guys that we have on our team, to see that, you can play not so well but still have success and still come out on top at the end of the season.
Yeah, Coach Aubrey said, clearly y'all want to win, but he said getting the sack record would be pretty cool too. What would you sense if y'all, I know you want to win, but what would it mean getting that sack record? Yeah,
I think that would be, a reflection of the work that we put in all season. That was something that we haven't had around here the last couple of years, and to see that the precision and what it took to get to that point, and to see that we can even go, further the following year, is really cool to see. And like I said, the record sucks, but you try to focus on, the positives when you get back and you're able to reflect on the season. And, we'll be able to tell our kids, and I was a part of that defensive back group that, we broke the franchise sack record as a group. So it all comes in hand to hand from coach, every pass rusher, every DB out there covering, every person that goes on a blitz. I think we're one of the best teams for sure at that.
How much have you learned about the Falcons-Saints rivalry since joining this team?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I didn't know as much about it, but I can even remember when we just went to New Orleans. You see all Atlanta people, they're having their parties. So it's like a battle. It's a battle between New Orleans and the ATL, and it's something that you naturally got to embrace it when you come into the organization and understand the importance of that game. Even though we're not, playing for a playoff spot right now, but it still is important to let I think your rival, your peers, let them know that this is who we are, and also let our fans know who they're going to be out there supporting us still against the Aints is what they call them. So we're excited for sure.
Anything else?
Yeah, to stay with the random question, Keith, what would you give up for the Falcons to win the Super Bowl?
That's a hard question. I'd give it all, man. I would love to see this city and this fan base to experience something like that, and it's been a long time, since we've been able to do that. So I'd give away all my interceptions, anything. I just want to win and see the city on top.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, I'll start it off. Happy for our guys to win our 3rd straight game. Looking forward to this weekend versus the Saints for our 4th straight game. The opportunity to win our 4th straight game. Going back to the game, I thought the guys played hard, played physical. I thought the guys covered well on kickoff. You talk about Charlie Warner getting downfield on kickoff, Mike Ford on kickoff and on punt, and then even Jalen Walker being playable and making some plays on kickoff as well. And then Zane doing a good job putting the ball where it needs to be on kickoff. Obviously, field goal, Zane, that was huge, hitting that 56-yarder in the middle of the field to put us back up by 21. And then, it was unfortunate what happened, and always challenge our offensive line and our protection guys to always be in the present when it comes to what they're doing on field goal protection, because usually when you get downfield, like Josh or Mark, you get downfield on a field goal attempt, like those guys are usually tired. But the other team's tired too, but it's can we play that play a little bit longer? Can we stay in the present, no matter what happened on that drive? Because usually if you're kicking a field goal, I ideally want 7 points. So you're kicking a field goal because we didn't convert on the first down, but we got to be locked in the present, locked into the personnel, and make sure that we just do our job. And then going back to that now, the very next time we got out there for a field goal at the end of the game, which was good by our offense and defense, and then us as a special teams unit being able to go out there versus the exact same look and being able to have clean, great protection, clean operation, again with Liam, Bradley, and then Zane putting the ball through the uprights right down the middle to give us the game-winning field goal and give us the lead to go out there and give our defense a chance to finish that game out the right way. So it's cool just to see all those guys on all three phases play for one another, play hard, have good energy, good passion for one another, and come out with a win. So I'll open up to any questions.
So on the game winner, they tried to do the same thing, but y'all were able to block it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the standard. D-Led is our guys know and they're well prepared when it comes to being able to understand our opponent, understanding our assignment, our alignment, our technique. The challenge for our guys, whether it's on the coverage phase or return phase, can we be in the present? I'd always challenge our defensive players, D-Led, like, hey, when we're on defense and we transition from third down to punt return, like you can't control if they're going for it on defense or going for it as an offense or if we're going to punt return. But you can't control your effort and your attitude and the technique that you play with. And that's the same thing for our O-line on field goal. And that's the same thing for our tight ends that are on punt, or like guys like Cordell Hodge before he got hurt. He would run a deep route or run a route, and then it'll be on third down and have to come back and go on punt. It's that one extra play. So those guys just being in the present, having that next down mentality, and it's all 11 guys, because you could have 10 guys do something perfectly right, and then it could be one guy that could kind of damage it for the entire play. So and that comes with protection, any type of protection unit. You can have great protection, but if one guy messes up out of the 10 guys, then there's going to be an issue. And we're one play, so there's no second down for us. We don't get another op. We're not guaranteed another op. Luckily, we were, and they had a great protection, same rush. They eliminated what they needed eliminated, so Zane could go out there and be the best version of himself.
After almost a full season's worth of data on the kickoff rule tweaks, what are your thoughts?
I think the play is still evolving and growing. If you look around the league, the schemes, the alignments, how people are doing different assignments, and decision-making and different returns and the type of returners and the type of blockers and coverage players, it's continued to change. And as you go through a full season of it, you're still trying to teach guys that are used to playing and running for 25 or 30 yards before making contact with the block or reading a block to do that within 5 to 4 yards. And it's just the anticipation, the urgency, the awareness. Everybody's learning. Whether you get guys from college that come to play or even guys that have been in the NFL. Like Devin Tompkins, I think he only had one return in his play last year prior to this. So you only get better at reps, and I think for us as coaches and players, we're continuing to get better with the play, with the reps, whether it's the kickers, placement, hang time, location, putting the ball in the landing zone, how you put the ball in the landing zone. I think the play is going to continue to evolve, and I think it's great for the game.
Do you expect more? They fiddled with it a little last offseason. Do you expect more fiddling this offseason, or do you think they'll stick with this?
Oh, you're talking about like the actual play?
Yeah, do you think they'll tweak the rule even more, or do you think that they'll wait and see how the stuff that you're talking about plays out over the course of another year?
Yeah, I mean, every year I know the competition committee does a great job with, those guys looking at the play, and then us as special teams coaches, we look at the play, and we'll get together in the offseason just to see how we can make the play even better. Always the first and foremost, how can we continue to make the play even more safe when it comes to how we operate on that play, which I do feel like it is a safer play. But those are things that we always look at in the offseason. How can we make the game better for the entire league, for the players, and for the league?
Forgive my ignorance on this. The IPP players, Lenny Creed, is that a year-long, do you have to re-up your IPP player, or does he just stay with you now until you decide if you wanted to make a change at that spot?
I kind of know the rules of it, but that's more so like a Terry and Raheem question when it comes to the IPP players. I know that on each and every team, we have one of them. We're awarded. We can have one of them that don't count towards the roster. But you speak about Lenny, he's been doing a great job, and that'll be a question I'll direct more towards Terry and those guys.
How have you seen him grow and kind of understand his role if he wants to be a full-time kicker in the NFL since he arrived here?
I think he's grown so much, both on the field and off the field. You just think about, like, for instance, going away from college, right, and going from, like, let's say if you're in state and you go from one city to a different city, that's uncomfortable, right? And you have faith in yourself and what you do and faith in higher being, and you could be comfortable and then you could still grow, but when you're uncomfortable and you have faith, that equals great growth. So just moving, like, let's say you move from a city to a city or a city to a state to state, that's uncomfortable. He moved from a different country, and he's in the United States, and I feel like he's grown so much just on the field and off the field. Off the field, just being uncomfortable, being in a new country, being able to be adapt and build new friends, new relationships, and then on the field, just with learning the game. Obviously, he played football in Germany, but the NFL is a totally different beast, and being able to learn the game, learn how we operate on game day, learn how we operate in practice, in the weight room, in the meeting room, his awareness, his knowledge. And I give a lot of credit to him because he's put in a lot of work on the field and off the field. And I'm excited for his future, and I know his best days are yet to come.
Anything else?
Yeah, real quick. Kind of random. What would you give up for the Falcons to win the Super Bowl?
What would I give up? I mean, I don't know I don't necessarily say what I would give up is what I would continue to put in for them to win Super Bowl. I know that this city and this organization, they want one really bad, and it would be cool to help them in that regard to help them win that Super Bowl. And obviously this year is not going to be it, but moving forward, whatever we can do to help this organization win the Super Bowl, and it's all about the work that you put in, the tireless amount of hours, the attention to detail, all those different things. And then for us as coaches and players, like, can we win our plays so we could put ourselves in position to win games? And each and every week is hard, and there's only one championship in the NFL. That's why the NFL exists, to win the Super Bowl. But I wouldn't say necessarily what I would give up. I mean, we already give up a lot of time, hours, time away from family, all those different things, but it's just putting in even more, the tireless amount of work, details, all that stuff to put our players in the best position to go out there and be successful.
All right.
All right, thank you guys.